welcome to today's video. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a 2024 election prediction between Joe Biden and Greg Abbott. I got started, and I had to restart, so I'm going to, or I didn't have to, but I did. So I'm going to try to make this fairly quick. Start off by labeling all of Biden's safe states: Washington, Oregon, California, Colorado, Hawaii, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, Maine's first, in Illinois. Abbott's too weak with the Hispanic and Latino vote in Colorado and would get less white rural turnout. Abbott's safe states: Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska's at large in 3rd congressional districts. Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, West Virginia, South Carolina, or Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama. For Biden's likely states, I'm going to go from New Mexico, Virginia, Nebraska 2nd, Minnesota, New York is safe, Maine at large, and that is it. So in New Mexico, I don't see Abbott doing well enough with the Hispanic and Latino vote, and I think that among oil workers, we could see him go either way because he is from Texas, but then he also might not do as well as Trump, but whatever. In Minnesota, I don't see Abbott doing well enough with the white working class and doing well enough in the Minnesota area to be able to narrow it up. Or narrow it up enough to make it lean. Honestly, maybe narrow it up, period. In the state of Virginia, I don't see Abbott getting enough white rural turnout. But I also don't see him doing well enough in the D.C. suburbs and doing better in urban areas. Maine, it's fairly inelastic. It's Maine. I think Abbott would maybe do a little bit better. Because yes, he is very pro-Trump and very like a MAGA type candidate. But he is also he has more traditional appeal, so he could do slightly better. But I still think would be likely Biden, and then Nebraska 2nd. Abbott, the suburbs are going to continue to shift regardless if Trump's on the ballot or not. Trump would just make them shift more rapidly. So here's my take on the suburbs. Abbott in 2020 would overperform Trump in 2020 in the suburbs. Abbott in 2024 would overperform Trump in 2024 in the suburbs. Abbott in 2024 would underperform Trump in 2020 in the suburbs. He's a better suburban candidate than Trump, but they're going to continue to shift, and you won't really be able to see that. So, yeah, for Abbott's likely states, Kansas, South Carolina, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio, Maine 2nd, Nebraska's 1st, and Alaska. In Alaska, we're going to see more Native American turnout, which I think would definitely favor Biden, and was likely in 2020. I think we're going to see it continue to shift to the left. In Kansas, I don't see Abbott getting enough white rural turnout, and I also don't see him doing well enough in the shifting suburbs of Kansas City and doing well enough in the Wichita area. Nebraska's 1st, I don't see Abbott doing well enough in the rural vote, and once again doing well enough in Lincoln suburbs, Lincoln suburbs in Kansas. Obviously, there are, as far as I know, aren't Lincoln suburbs in Kansas unless there's like tiny bit of Kansas right there, which actually would not be insane. There's like a tiny part of Kentucky. It's like right there in Missouri, which is kind of weird. But regardless, in Iowa, I think that I don't think that Abbott would be as strong as Trump. I think he would do worse with the white rural vote. But I don't see it being significantly worse enough to the point where it's where it narrows up to being like less than R+6 or R+5.5. Indiana, I think he would do worse than Trump with the white working class, which is why I moved down to likely. Ohio, I think of between Iowa, Ohio, and Maine 2nd, if any of these were going to be lean, I would say it's probably Ohio, because Abbott would do worse with the white working class, and he would also probably do bad in the state's shifting suburbs. So it's probably like R+5.3 or something. In Maine 2nd, I think that Abbott's going to do better with the white rural vote in a state like Maine. Or well with it, and it'll probably stay likely. South Carolina, he's going to be too strong with the white, he's not going to be strong. He's not going to be strong enough with the white rural vote to be able to make it safe. And I also don't see him doing well enough with the black vote. For Biden's lean states, I'm going to give him Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan. I'll say Wisconsin and Michigan at a different point. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and Georgia. In Nevada, I don't see him, Abbott, that is, doing well enough with the white rural vote. I don't see him turning enough white rural voters out. I also don't see him doing well enough with the Hispanic and Latino vote and doing as well as Trump, or doing as well in the suburbs where Trump came out, whatever. How that came out, it's kind of weird. I don't know. maybe doing. I don't see him doing as well as. I don't see him doing as well as Trump did in the suburbs, just because they're going to continue to shift. I do think he's a better suburban candidate than Trump, though. In Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, he's not going to do well enough in these big cities and with the black vote, or I guess the minority vote in general. Not only the black vote. I don't see him doing well enough with minority voters in general. But also see him doing worse with the white working class. Pennsylvania, I don't think he'll be able to do well enough in the Pittsburgh area, and I think he'll get less white rural turnout. Michigan, he wouldn't do well enough in Detroit. Once again, less white rural turnout. He'd probably do worse in the suburbs. Wisconsin, I see him doing worse with the white working class in the western Wisconsin, because I mean, looking at the white working class, they in the western Wisconsin, they like Trump. They vote for Trump, but they tend to be traditional Democrats. I mean, like, even in 2016, Trump won Wisconsin, but Ron Johnson, a Republican, a very far right Trump Republican, he won without a lot of the support over there. So that's not really the key takeaway, that he won without support over there. But the key takeaway is that they tend to vote Democrat other than with Trump. I mean, like, in that general area, like the 3rd Congressional District, they have a Democratic representative in Congress. So I do think that they will likely vote for Biden in this scenario. Georgia, I don't see Abbott getting enough white rural turnout. I think he would also do worse in the Atlanta area and the Atlanta suburbs. That's an area where I think he would definitely do worse than Trump. Now for his lean states, he has Texas, and that is actually it. So in the state of Texas, I see Biden honestly doing better all across the board. I see him, or not necessarily doing better with the white rural vote, but there being less white rural vote. I see him doing significantly better with the Hispanic and Latino vote, and I see the Hispanic and Latino vote getting a larger vote share. I see him doing better in more urban areas, and I see him doing better in the suburbs. So that's essentially it. I think it'll probably be like R+2 though. And then Biden's tilt states, Nevada, Arizona. We're gonna get Nevada, and North Carolina. While Abbott will get Florida. So in Arizona, Abbott would do worse with the Hispanic and Latino vote, and I think he would do, once again, obviously worse in the suburbs. Arizona suburbs, like, they're still traditionally Republican, so I think he could actually do pretty decent there. In Arizona suburbs, I think that his anti-mask, restrictions, response to the COVID-19 pandemic in Texas could go over pretty rough there. But I do think that overall he would still probably be a decent candidate for more traditional Republicans, which is why it would be such a narrow margin of victory for Biden. North Carolina, I don't see him getting the working class turnout that he needs, and also the working class support. I don't see him doing well enough with the white rural vote, and I also see him doing worse, obviously, in more urban areas, but in the suburbs as well, which is why it would probably narrowly flip. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like below. Stay tuned for my next video tomorrow. I'll try to get the UAP reaction video out. I don't know that I will. I have school starting later tomorrow. I have, like, probably, depending on when I wake up, an hour and or 2 hours ish to just, like, do what I want tomorrow. So I'll try to get something done. I may not be able to, because, like, most of my family is gonna be here, and I don't really want to be, like, alone in an office just in the morning. That sounds kind of sad. But I do think that I could hopefully try to get more of my schoolwork done. I could try to get it up tomorrow. So yeah, once again, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, or once again, I guess, not really once again, or at least in this video, but yeah, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye!